Ever wonder what it takes for a whiskey to be labeled as bottled in bond? Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm Ryan from With or Without Whiskey, and this is Whiskey Specs. Hey everybody, I'm Ryan from With or Without Whiskey, and this is Whiskey Specs. On today's episode, I'll be going over what it takes to be labeled bottled in bond. The term bottled in bond has been used to regulate quality of whiskey since the Bottled in Bond Act of 1897, and was America's first regulation on any food or drug product. The reason the Bottled in Bond Act was created was before 1897, people were putting a whole bunch of unfavorable things into barrels or bottles and selling it as whiskey. These unfavorable additives could be anything from harsh chemicals to paint thinner to rusty barbed wire to try and darken the color. It took a lot of important people in the whiskey industry, like Colonel E.H. Taylor, to lobby for this to try and get the US government to pass this act. The Bottled in Bond Act was never mandatory, but a tax break was offered to anyone willing to abide by the regulations. A lot of people think that only bourbon can be bottled in bond, but that's a common misconception. Any US whiskey can be labeled as bottled in bond. A whiskey is able to use the term bottled in bond or bonded on the bottle, and they mean the same thing. And they can have it put on the bottle however they like. They can have it written on the label, or they could have it etched into the bottle, like New Riff. In order for a whiskey to be labeled as bottled in bond, or bonded, it must be produced in the United States, must be aged for at least 4 years, bottled at precisely 100 proof, or 50% ABV, must be made by one distiller in one distilling season, must be aged in a federally bonded warehouse under US government supervision. The bottle must identify the distillery where it was distilled, and if different, where it was bottled. If a whiskey is able to adhere to all of these regulations, it can legally put the term bottled in bond on the bottle. Now you guys know what it takes to be labeled as bottled in bond. If you enjoyed today's video and you learned something new, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button down here. Also, give me a like and hit the bell notification. That way you guys get informed every time I drop a new video. Also, leave me a comment. What's your favorite bottled in bond whiskey? Do you tend to go for the bottled in bond, or does that label not really mean anything to you? I like to hear what you guys have to say. Until next time, stay safe, guys. Take care.